George Floyd's sister has boycotted a meeting with U.S. President Joe Biden, saying he broke a promise to enact police reform legislation by the anniversary of her brother's death. While Bridget Floyd attended a rally in Minneapolis, Minnesota, other family members lobbied Mr. Biden at the White House to help pass the bill. The George Floyd Justice in Policing Act is stalled on Capitol Hill. On Tuesday, cities in the U.S. and abroad marked a year since Floyd's death. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was convicted last month of the murder of Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, after kneeling on his neck area for more than 9 minutes as he was detained on suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. He faces up to 40 years in prison when sentenced on June 25. Mr. Biden had set Tuesday as a deadline for signing police reform legislation. After meeting the President and Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House, Floyd's brother, Philonis, told reporters, "If you can make federal laws to protect the bird, which is the bald eagle, then you can make federal laws to protect people of color." Floyd's other brother, Terrence, said it had been a very productive conversation in the Oval Office. But Bridget Floyd, who instead held a moment of silence at a celebration of life event in a downtown Minneapolis park, explained why she did not go to Washington. "I was going to D.C. for Biden to sign a bill," she said. "Biden has not signed that bill. Biden has broke a promise." She added a message for the president: "Get your people in order." After meeting the Floyd family, the president issued a statement pledging to keep supporting the legislation. "The battle for the soul of America has been a constant push and pull between the American ideal that we're all created equal and the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart," the president said. "At our best, the American ideal wins out. It must again." While Mr. Biden, a Democrat, has led the way in publicly lobbying for passage of infrastructure and coronavirus stimulus bills, he has left much of the negotiations over police reform to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. "We have been respecting the space needed for negotiators to have these discussions," White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said on Tuesday as she declined to offer a new deadline for reaching an agreement. But activists said Mr. Biden needed to do more to help pass the bill. "The president will need to step up to make sure we get it across the finish line," Judith Brown Dionis, executive director of the Advancement Project, a racial justice organization, told AP News Agency. Senate Democrats last June blocked a police reform bill proposed by a black Republican senator, Tim Scott of South Carolina. They argued it did not go far enough. Now Senate Republicans oppose a police reform bill passed in March by House of Representatives Democrats, the main stumbling block being its provision to make it easier for individual police officers to be sued and charged with crimes. Mr. Biden has also been pressed by Black Lives Matter and other activists to stop military equipment being supplied to police forces. On the campaign trail last year, he called for the U.S. to stop transferring weapons of war to police forces. But despite calls from House Democrats to issue an executive order to that effect, the White House has not acted. Legal cases surrounding Floyd's murder continue, meanwhile. Earlier in May, a federal grand jury charged 4 ex-police officers, Alexander Kung, Thomas Lane, and Tou Thao, as well as Chauvin, with violating Floyd's civil rights. Chauvin's defense team has requested a new trial, accusing both prosecutors and jurors of misconduct.